All right, we're back. In this video, I want to go over the app router and how we can create a multi-page application. So React was initially designed to be primarily for single page applications, meaning all the work you do is done in a single page. This URL at the top doesn't change, it just stays the same the entire time. And that was just a common way of creating apps. However, people still wanted to have different endpoints because there's often reasons why you would want someone to visit your page in a different endpoint. For example, if I log on to my account on a website, I would like this URL to be /account. And that way, if it maintains my account login, I can just immediately go to that /account and I don't have to navigate through the home page. There's a bunch of reasons why you would want to use a multi-page. So the app router makes this very simple. And I mentioned this a while back in a previous video, but you might have forgot. The page TSX essentially represents something similar, not the same, but similar to an index.html. And if you remember traditional web development with an Apache server, when I have an index.html, if I just go to a root like folder or a URL without a dot anything, it will look for an index.html or index.php, and it will serve that file. In our case, it's just going to be serving page TSX. The big difference is it's routed through the layout, which then grabs the page TSX. This is the top level page TSX. It's in app. So this is what's served when we go to the top level of our website. However, let's say I want to pull my favorite video games out and put them into their own endpoint called video games. What I can do is I can create a new folder here. So I want to create it in app because it's in the app router. We're going to create a new folder, and that folder is going to be called favorite video games, like that. We'll put dashes in there because that's kind of a common way of having multiple words in a URL, favorite video games. And now all I need to do is create a new page TSX inside of this folder, and that'll be like that index.html. Now the function that's returned should just be called home. So let's see if we can just do this from scratch. Now, export default is also important to have on there. So we'll say new file, page.tsx, export default function home, and then we're going to return, and I'm going to go back over to here. Go back over to here and grab this part out. I'm going to take it out of here, this whole div. Take that out, cut it, save, and then I'm going to go over here and paste that into here. Okay, now when I save this, you see my favorite video games disappeared from here. But let's go ahead and type /favorite video games. And look at that. Now it's serving this file instead. So I can create endpoints for everything that I want to use here. Let's create another one for my schedule. New folder, my schedule. And a thing that I like to do, just so I don't have to type everything again, is I'll copy something. So let's actually copy this page, and we'll paste it inside of here. And then I'll just clean up the stuff that I don't need. I don't need the greeting. I don't need this days a week. And we're just going to get rid of all this stuff here, except for my schedule. So everything inside of this div will keep. Whoops. There we go. We're not using styles in here. If we want to add a styles module, we have to create a new page.module CSS inside of that folder, and we'll do that at the end here. Okay, so now I have a new endpoint. It's going to be my schedule, And my schedule is going to show up here. Yeah, let's say I want to add styling to this table here. Inside of my schedule, let's create a new file called page.module.css. And it's going to be similar to this one where we're going to have something inside of there. So we'll make a dot schedule table. And I think I always forget how to do the rows and stuff. For now, let's give it padding px. And I'm going to try border style, border width, border style solid, I think it is. There it is. Okay. So now when I go back to page, I can re-import that, import style from page.module.css. And now we'll do that, use that alias to style our table. So we'll say style equals, class name equals style dot, and it was schedule table, I believe. Page.module.css. Oh, I need to put a slash there. There we go. So now it put some padding there and it put that around it. Let's try to put borders on everything. So dot schedule table, and we'll say TD. I think this doesn't work how I want it to, but it'll at least demonstrate. Doesn't quite work how we want it to. What if we do TR? Nothing happens there. Okay. I think you have to do like collapse cell or something like that. Border collapse. Collapse, is that maybe in the table? There we go. Okay. Hey, it worked kind of. Yeah. If we want to do it with the top row as well, I think we can do comma th. No. I forgot how to do multiple things like that. There we go. All right, so that put borders around all that, and then I want some padding in the cells, so we'll say padding 10px inside the cells. There we go. Hey, that's a nice looking table. If we want the top one to be inverted, we can do schedule table th, and we'll say color is white, and then background color. It's got to be semicolon here. That messed up the border though. Let's redo this down here then. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So we were able to put some styling on that as well. We have two different endpoints here. Three different endpoints. We have the home page, which is just this. We have favorite games, my favorite games, favorite video games. And we have my schedule. My schedule. You get a 404 if you go to an endpoint that doesn't have anything. And remember, the endpoint is just dictated by the folder name and having a page.tsx inside of that folder. So every folder inside of the app will have its own endpoint here, as long as there's a page.tsx in that folder. I think that's good for this one. Next one, we'll look at linking and creating a custom component.